So you're thinking about studying, working, or maybe even moving to an English-speaking country. If that's the plan, then you've probably heard of the IELTS test. It might seem a little intimidating, but trust me, it's not. And in this guide, we are going to walk through every single thing you need to know to absolutely nail it. So you ready? Let's get started.
Okay, so first things first, what is IELTS? Well, it stands for the International English Language Testing System. And really, all you need to know is that it's the most recognized, most popular English test on the planet. We're talking universities, employers, immigration offices. They all see an IELTS score and they know it's the real deal.
So here's our game plan. We've got 5 key stages to walk through together. We'll start with the basics of what IELTS is, then we'll break down the test itself. After that, I've got some top-tier tips for success. Then we'll cover what to expect on test day, and finally, we'll decode what your score actually means.
All right, your quest begins here. And the very first step, and this is a big one, is figuring out which version of the test you actually need. There are 2 main paths, and picking the right one from the get-go is absolutely crucial. Think of it this way. If you're heading to university or applying for a professional license, like in medicine or engineering, then IELTS Academic is the one for you. But if your goal is more about work experience, job training, or migrating, then you're going to want to take the IELTS General Training Test. 2 different tests for 2 very different goals.
So why is getting this right so important? Well, check out this number. Over 10,000 organizations in more than 140 countries recognize IELTS. A good score here doesn't just open a door, it opens up a whole world of them, no matter where you're trying to go.
Okay, now that you know which path you're on, let's map out the terrain. The test is broken down into 4 core skills that you'll need to master: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Knowing what's in each section is your roadmap to a great score.
So here's the breakdown. You've got listening for about 30 minutes. Then you have a full hour for reading and another full hour for writing. It's really important to know that while the listening test is the same for everyone, the reading and writing sections are actually different depending on whether you're taking academic or general training. And then there's speaking, which is the shortest part. So yeah, managing your time is going to be a huge part of your strategy.
Now, the speaking test. This one's a little different. It's not you versus a computer. It's a real, face-to-face conversation with the certified IELTS examiner. This is actually a good thing. It makes the whole experience feel more natural, and it allows the examiner to really get a sense of your actual speaking ability.
And that conversation isn't just a random chat. It's split into 3 distinct parts. Part 1 is a warm-up, really. You'll answer some general questions about yourself, your life, your work, your hobbies. Then in Part 2, they'll give you a topic on a card. You get 1 minute to prep, and then you speak on that topic for 1 to 2 minutes. Finally, Part 3 is a deeper discussion that builds on your Part 2 topic. This is where you get to show off your ability to discuss more abstract ideas.
Okay, you know the map, you know the terrain. Now let's get you the tools you need for the journey. In this section, we're sharpening your skills with some of my absolute top tips to help you conquer every part of the test.
All right, for the reading test, time is your biggest enemy. Your secret weapon? Skimming. This is your superpower. It's not about reading every single word. It's about getting the bird's eye view. Quickly read the title, any headings, and then the first and last sentence of each paragraph. That alone will give you a pretty solid idea of what the whole text is about. Now, skill number 2 is scanning, and it's totally different. If skimming is the bird's eye view, scanning is being a detective. You're not reading for general meaning, you're hunting for specific clues, a name, a date, a keyword from the question. Run your finger down the page and let your eyes dart around, looking only for that specific piece of information.
Okay, here's a pro tip for the speaking test, especially if you're aiming for a high score, like a band 7 or above. You need to use idiomatic language. This just means using those common phrases and expressions that native speakers use all the time without even thinking about it. It shows the examiner you have a really natural command of the language.
Let's take a look at a classic example. Once in a blue moon. Sounds pretty cool, right? It's a really common idiom, and dropping something like this into your conversation, as long as it fits, of course, can make a huge difference. So what does it mean? It's simple, really. It just means very rarely. For example, you could say, because I'm studying so hard for the IELTS, I only go out in the evenings once in a blue moon. See? Easy.
You've practiced, you've prepared, and now it's game day, the final challenge. Let's walk through exactly what's going to happen when you show up for the test so there are absolutely no surprises. Knowing the process will help you stay calm and focused.
First things first, arrive early.
They are very strict about start times. Make sure you have your valid ID with you. Usually your passport is the best bet. You'll go through a check-in process where they take your photo and a finger scan. Then all your personal stuff, your phone, your bag, your watch, goes into a secure locker. After a quick security check, they'll guide you to your seat, and you'll get final instructions before the clock starts.
Once you're inside the test room, there are a few key rules to keep in mind. It needs to be totally silent, which helps everyone focus. If you need anything at all, just raise your hand. The only things you can have on your desk are your ID and maybe some water in a clear, label-free bottle. Everything else has to be stored away. Just listen carefully to the staff, and you'll be totally fine.
You did it! The test is over. You put in all that hard work, and now it's time for the reward, understanding your results. So let's break down the IELTS scoring system and figure out what those numbers actually mean for you.
So IELTS uses what's called a 9-band scale. It's pretty straightforward. Band 1 is the lowest and Band 9 is the highest, meaning you're an expert user. You don't just get one score, though. You'll get an individual band score for each of the 4 sections, plus an overall band score, which is the average of the 4.
So what's a good score? Well, for many universities and professional groups, a Band 7 is kind of the magic number. It labels you a good user of English. A Band 6, or a competent user, is also a really solid score that's accepted for lots of work and immigration purposes. Looking at these descriptions can really help you set a clear, realistic target for yourself.
And just like that, you have the complete roadmap to the IELTS test. You know what it is, how it's structured, how to prepare, and what your score means. Your journey truly starts now. So the only question left is, where is IELTS going to take you? The possibilities are endless.